بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. وقال تعالى: ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون يستبشرون بنعمة من الله وفضل وأن الله لا يضيع أجر المؤمنين. صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected brothers and sisters who are listening, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once more, if we can request that there's many gaps in between, without making it uncomfortable for anyone. If you just come a little bit forward, I'm sure your jinn brothers can sit behind you. Our jinn brothers need to sit as well, right? So we need to put our jinn brothers behind, and we the humans come in front. You guys don't know some of jinns are. Our jinn brothers for the back, inshallah. And for us to foresee, jaldi aage. Don't worry, the ones at the back, don't freak out now. They've been here with us, they've been praying with us. My brothers and sisters who are listening, the topic is about trials and tribulations and how do you go through this. Now the first and foremost thing is that if anybody sitting here does not have a problem in their life, somebody who's like 12 or above, if I ask the 10-year-olds or 8-year-olds, they're going to say, nah, no problem. Anybody 12 or above sitting here and has no problem in their life at all, can you put your hands up? That's what I thought. Everybody has got problems in their lives. Everyone has got some form of trials in their lives. Okay, some more than others, some less than others. And what happens is sometimes we come to a crisis. And sometimes, alhamdulillah, we have happy days. Nobody is without problems. Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Quran, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. I've created you, human being, always you're going to be in some form of uncomfortable situation. Some form. You're never going to be fully comfortable. And the biggest problem is with today's day, is that everybody's looking for the perfect comfort. That nothing should go wrong. People feel nothing should go wrong. Why is there this happening? Why is there that happening? Why is this happening here? Oh my God, Ya Allah, this happening there. Why? Why this? Why can't we just be fine and good? Because my friend, Allah Azza wa Jalla has said in the Holy Quran, وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً. I've made some of you a means of a test for others. Allah has done that. So the women will be tested by men, men will be tested by women. Yes or no, guys? Or everybody in Leicester, mashallah, 100%, huh? No problems in the household. Man, I need to marry in Leicester. Women will be tested by men, men will be tested by women, yes or no? Come on, guys, speak to me, because otherwise you're going to drop off. Yes or no? Fathers will be tested by sons, sons will be tested by fathers, yes or no? Yes. Daughters tested by mothers, mothers tested by daughters. This is just life. This is life. Cousins tested by cousins, uncles tested by nephews, nieces tested by aunties. Whatever it is, it's always a test. Allah said, I made some of you fitna by others. White people tested by black people tested by white people. And in between you've got me, Nutella. I don't see why you should be racist. I've got a very quick solution to racism. Honestly, this is the best solution you can ever find to racism. Why call them black? Why call them white? Why call them brown? I've got a really good solution to racism. The black people they call black people should be called dark chocolate. And people like me should be called milk chocolate. And people who are fair should be called what? White chocolate. And the one in between me and the white chocolate should be called what? Cream chocolate. Alhamdulillah, we're all different flavors of chocolate. You understand? But Allah has tested the white people, black people, then Allah has tested the Hindus with Muslims, Muslims with Christians, Christians with Buddhists, Buddhists with others. We're all a test for each other. Every other person is going to have some form of difference, and the difference is going to become a test. Sometimes large tests, sometimes small tests. Then Allah has tested the one with money and the one without money. Allah has put the rich person on one side, the poor person on the other side. And the poor person on one side and the rich person on the other side. And you will find all sorts of different flavors Allah has put in the humankind. Why? Because it's a test. Now what we're seeing is trouble. What we see is trials. What we see is sometimes, Ya Allah, why is this happening? And people complain. And people even say, what is God doing about this? It's true, people do say that. They say, naqal kufr nabasha. If you repeat blasphemy, if you repeat something which is kufr or something which is denying the truth, it doesn't mean you deny the truth. Okay? I'm just repeating what goes on outside there. And I'm sure people who are sitting here, sometimes this crossed their mind, then why is Allah allowing all of this to happen? Look, don't worry, you're still a Muslim, don't worry. It was the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een who came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, Messenger of Allah, we have such things in our hearts sometimes that is put there, obviously by the shaitan, waswasa, that we would rather become burned ashes than to utter the words that come into our hearts. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't say, tell me what your waswasa is. He didn't say that. He didn't say, let me get into a debate and an argument with you with what your problems and your deep reflections about God or the Quran or the Prophet or Deen is. He simply said, do you find yourself fighting those thoughts? And they said, yes, Messenger of Allah, of course, we fight our thoughts when they come in our hearts. And the Prophet ﷺ, according to a Sahih hadith of Muslim, said, ذَلِكَ مَحْضُ الْإِيمَانِ, that is pure 100% Iman. Did you guys understand that or not? You didn't understand. There's only 5 brothers said Subhanallah. The rest of you didn't say. So let me explain it again. Pure 100% Iman is because you fight your waswasa, you fight your thoughts. So you've got 100% Iman. You know why? One of the elders said in the past, he said a beautiful thing. He said, if you find waswasa coming in your heart, it's a very good sign. If you find the shaitan coming and giving you injections, you know shaitan? Shaitan naamla. You know shaitan? You know the devil? Uncle Iblis? You know him? When you find him or his men come inside and they give you waswasa, it's a good sign in one way. Why? Because a thief does not go to steal from an empty house. A thief will only go and steal where there's something valuable to take. So the shaitan will only come and give you waswasa because you've got Iman in your heart. Say Alhamdulillah. Next time shaitan comes and puts waswasa, say, bring your arm, bro. You understand? Bring your arm. I'm ready. And when the shaitan gives you waswasa, come and talk to your imam, no problem. But let me tell you about this waswasa, the latest waswasa. A lot of people have had this across the world is the trials and tribulations across the world. What is Allah doing about it? Can Allah stop the wars going on? Can't Allah stop the bombings? And can't Allah Azza wa Jal just do something about it? Of course He can. But why doesn't He do it? Let me give you an example. Shall I give you an example? Guys, are you awake? Yeah, you're going to listen. You're going to talk to me as I'm talking. Otherwise, I'm going to drop off as well. You know Muhammad Bhai? There was one Muhammad Bhai here in Leicester. I know there's loads of Muhammad Bhai. That's why I chose the name of Muhammad Bhai. You know Muhammad Bhai, what happened is he's an 18-year-old. Okay? 18-year-old Muhammad. I'm sorry if your age is 18 and you're Muhammad Bhai, yeah? What happened is his dad gave him everything. His dad gave him everything. Subhanallah. He had his own room. He gave him, not one TV. They had about 3 TVs in the house. Then the child wanted a smartphone. He gave him a smartphone at the age of 11. Then the child wanted to have his own Wi-Fi access. He got his Wi-Fi access. The child wanted TV in his room. He got it. He wanted PS2. He got PS2. He wanted 3. He got 3. He got PS4. He got PS4. He said, this game, that game, this game, that game. His father said, your wish is my command. You understand? So he gave all that to him. Then Muhammad, what happened is when he got to his GCSEs, he messed up. Because he was playing too much with his PS4. He's messed up. He messed up. So what happened is he came home, he made excuses, his mum went mad on him, his dad went mad, but it was only for 24 hours. It was only for 24 hours. His mum said she's never going to cook for him. Dad said they were going to give him anything. And then dad, wanted to take his PS4, everything away. But after a while, forgave him. Said, okay, you're going to have to do your GCSEs again. He said, fine. So Muhammad Bhai had a second attempt to doing his GCSEs. And guess what happened next year? He flopped. All right? Twice he flopped. Yeah? Next year, he went for third time, he got hat-trick. Hat-trick, he flopped again. His dad went crazy. Dad said, okay, that's it. If you're not going to study, you're playing in your room all day. All day you play. I pay for the bills in this house. I pay for all the electricity. I pay for everything. You don't even have to work. All your clothes are there. You want something, you get it before you even wish for it. I'm giving it to you. What's the matter? All I want you to do is study. And what does he do? All he has is his friends on his mind. Online, he's there playing with his friends all the time. So the dad says, okay, go out to work. At the age of 18, dad says, go out to work. He goes out to work for 2 weeks somewhere, he gets fired. Because he doesn't want to work. You understand? He comes home. Dad grabs him, takes him to another place. He says, go and work over there. Gets him a job, everything. After 3 weeks, he flops. He's fired. Comes back. All right? What's he going to do with Muhammad Bhai? What's he going to do with him? He says, okay. He says to him, okay, if you're not going to do anything, just sit down. Don't do anything else. So you know what Muhammad Bhai does? He doesn't sit home. He just goes here, he goes there, he goes this, he goes there. And now the dad's getting debts because Muhammad, his son, is taking money, borrowing money from others, and his dad has to pay the bills. People are coming knocking on the door. Dad's going away, dad's thinking, what have I done? I've given him everything. And he doesn't want to study, he doesn't want to work, he doesn't want to do anything, he doesn't want to sit home and just be a good boy. Then one day his dad gets really mad at him. And what does he do? He says, get out of my house. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? You understand? You're like scared, man. Your dad's going to kick you out tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving ideas, bro. I'm just saying what happened, okay? Because these are based on a true story. So your dad said, get out of the house. So one time he tries to kick him out, his mom brings him in, cries, brings him in. Next second time, tries to kick him out, brings him again. And slowly, his son gets into drugs. And when his son gets into drugs, what happens is the dad is now thinking, Ya Allah, how can I keep him in my house? After 2-3 years, his dad's got another problem. Police are now looking for his son. So if police come to his house, they find drugs under the mattress, the dad's going to be arrested. So the dad says, you have to now get out and go. There's no choice. You fix yourself up, and then you can be my son any day, but you fix yourself up. And then I'll take you back in. Now his son has gone out there somewhere, he's getting another place, whatever. He's living a bit rough, but he's trying to sort himself out. Right? Me and you sitting here saying, man, can't Muhammad just stay in his own house? Now let me now bring you back to the original thing that I said to you. Allah Azza wa Jal has given this ummah many gifts. Allah gave the country, Allah gave wealth, Allah gave money, Allah put petrol under their feet, and Allah said, here's petrol, go take it, it's free. Free! Take it. Become millionaires, become billionaires overnight. Allah Azza wa Jal said, okay, I'm going to give you an empire. I'm going to make you Muslims that will have marble masjids and masjids of rubies and masjids of diamonds. Look in the Mughal Empire. In India, in your India, where it was. I wish India stayed as one. So there'll be no problem with Bengali marrying Gujarati. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much Parina now? There'd never be a problem of Pakistani marrying a Bengali and Bengali marrying anyone else and Gujarati marrying, with somebody else. There'd never be a problem. But anyway, that's another subject, okay? I love you guys, okay? Do you love me too? Guys, come. I love you guys. You love me too? I love you for the sake of Allah. You love me for the sake of Allah too, okay? Now what happens is in India, you look at the Mughal Empire, they had the masjids with rubies and other precious stones inside some of their masjids. What did not Allah give this ummah? Allah gave 800 years of Spain. Allah gave the Muslims. Allah gave the Muslims in the Ottoman Empire for centuries and centuries, said you rule the world from east to west, from north to south, it's yours, you rule. So they did it. Allah Azza wa Jal gave a wonderful, wonderful dynasty to us. And then the Muslims, in the midst of all of that, started to make things that are haram, halal for themselves. You look in the pages of history, you'll find this. You'll find from the top end to the bottom end, certain Muslims started to make certain things halal, which was haram. So they started to become a bit laid back. You read Ibn Khaldun, you'll find the same thing. You read books from Maulana Abu Hassan al-Nadwi, you'll find the same thing. He's from his Tariq. Every time the Muslims started to fall short of their deen, Allah Azza wa Jal started to pull them back in. Just like Muhammad Bhai in his house, every time he messed around, his dad said, get out of my house. And the mum would probably bring him back in, but his dad would say, get out of my house, and a few times. And then in the end, the dad would say, okay, now you sort yourself out, then I'll give you what I'm going to give you. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Holy Quran to us, وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. You are the most supreme if you have Iman. Allah said, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. Allah said, you are the best of all nations. When you actually engage in calling towards good and forbidding evil. That's when you're the best. خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. That's when you are the best nation. The best nation isn't the one that starts to look at the quickest deal to rip somebody off. The best nation doesn't look at taking a brand new car, hiring it and going out there and then smashing it and getting whiplash and some other claim and some other claim. That's not the best nation. The best nation is not the one that goes out there and will start to sell drugs onto streets and spoil others' lives just to make a bit of money. The best nation doesn't do that. Best nation doesn't call people towards fisq, towards sinning, towards taking others' rights. The best nation doesn't do that. And when the best nation starts to engage themselves in those kind of things, Allah Azza wa Jal will pull them back. And He's done that again and again. But it doesn't go out without saying that. Some of us good people will get stuck in there. But Allah Azza wa Jal has got another plan for the good people. Let me explain this. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, she heard the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked about a group of people that went to destroy the Kaaba. Near the end of time, a group of people will go to destroy the Kaaba. When they will get to a particular place called Bayda, يُخْسَفُ بِأَوَّلِهِمْ وَآخِرِهِمْ. Allah will swallow the first of the army, the last of the army, all of them into the ground with all of their weapons, with all of their horses or cars, wherever they've got. Allah will swallow all of them inside. Then Aisha radiallahu anha said, يُخْسَفُ Ya Rasulullah, يُخْسَفُ بِأَوَّلِهِمْ وَآخِرِهِمْ وَفِيهِمْ الصَّالِحُونَ. She said, Messenger of Allah, the first and the last will be swallowed into the earth, but amongst them are those people who are pious, who are righteous. What about them? Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, hadith sahih, I think it's either in Muslim or Bukhari. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the nearest meaning, he said, يُخْسَفُ بِأَوَّلِهِمْ وَآخِرِهِمْ ثُمَّ يُبْعَثُونَ عَلَى نِيَّاتِهِمْ. He said the first and the last will be swallowed into the ground, but then Allah will resurrect all of them according to their intentions. The Salihin, the good people, will be with the good people on the Day of Judgment. And the bad people who tried to take over the Kaaba will be taken with the bad people on the Day of Judgment. My friends, what happens is, if right now, may Allah forbid, there's an earthquake here. May Allah forbid, say Ameen. If right now there's an earthquake and the rooftop falls and some of us die, we see people dead. And we may complain, and we may cry, and we may miss our brothers and sisters gone from the earth. Right now, if that happens, that's what we see. But what does Allah see? Allah sees shuhada. Allah sees martyrs. Right now we're going to cry. And I'm going to relate the same thing to the bombings that are happening across the world in Muslim lands. When the bombings happen and the buildings collapse, we see one thing, Allah sees another. It's in the Quran. We see amwata, we see dead people. We see blood. We see lost lives. Allah says in the Holy Quran, don't say la taqul lahum amwata, don't even say they're dead. Allah says bal ahya, they're living. You see dead people, I see alive. People are alive. Walakin la tash'urun, but you can't sense it. You can't sense it. We see people died crushed and we have to bury them. Allah Azza wa Jal, from His side, if they're good people, they are people that are flying towards the heavens. And they will be in green birds. And Allah will put their souls in green birds where the green birds will roam around. No, Allah will say, haythu tashay, wherever you want to go, go. Where's the first place you will go in the akhirah if Allah puts your soul in a green bird and says, go and fly where you want? What's the first place you want to go to? Let's see. Jannah. Some brother looked at me and said like this. You know what that meant? No problem. Sabr inshallah. Hope you marry. Jannah is the first place you want to go and see. Right? Everybody wants to go and see Jannah. And the birds will go and roam around Jannah, and after it roams around Jannah, then it'll come to one of the lanterns that are hung to one of the pillars of the throne of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it will just rest there. Hadith of Muslim. Then Allah says to the bird, to the soul, is there anything that you want? And the soul will say, I just want one thing. We see what? We saw death. We saw crushing. We saw killing. We saw murdering. We saw horrible situation. Right? And what did the soul say in the next life when Allah questioned it? What do you want? The soul said, oh Allah, make me go back and I want to be put into my body again of the dunya and I want to die exactly the same way I died. This is the hadith of Muslim. And then it says, according to one narration, it says it 10 times. I want you to put me back, oh Allah, and I want to die like that again. I want you to put me back, oh Allah, again, I want to die again like that. Why? Why? The question is why? Why would it want to die again like that? Because when Battle of Mu'tah was happening and our Prophet ﷺ was sitting in Medina Munawwara, subhanallah, this is, you know, these days they have, you know what you have satellite reception, right? You have Wi-Fi, you have satellite, yes or no guys? You don't know what those things are. Nesta mein jaiz nahi hai. Wi-Fi is not jaiz. Some, you know the youngsters, all of the Hafiz are youngsters, man. And you know these youngsters, some of them are growing up, they don't want a wife because they got Wi-Fi. I'm serious, it's a big problem for them. But anyway, you see satellite, you see Wi-Fi, you see the connection, you see satellite broadcasting, yeah? Live broadcasting. You know, live broadcasting, look how much, you have to put a satellite there, satellite here, this and that, beam it from here, beam it down here, and sometimes the connection is not all right. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting in Medina Munawwara on the mimbar. And the army with Khalid bin Walid and with Ja'far radiallahu anhuma, they were hundreds of miles away in Sham, near Sham, the borders of Sham. And when the battle was happening, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sat on the mimbar, and with the Sahaba in Medina, he was giving them a live transmission. Allah opened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam what was happening. And he told him, he said, so-and-so has taken the flag, then so-and-so has been shaheed, then so-and-so has taken the flag, and they've cut Ja'far's right hand, and he still grabbed the flag with his left hand, and they cut his left arm. Then he grabbed it. He tried to grab it, when they cut his left arm, he tried to grab it both sides, and then he tried to grab it with his teeth and keep it up, and they made him shaheed. And that's when the Prophet ﷺ paused. And then you know what he said after that? He said, Allah has given, in the return of the 2 arms that he lost, Allah Azza wa Jal has given him 2 wings with which he's flying to the heavens. Now me and you see death. My brother, you've completely lost it. Sister, listen, you completely lost it. You don't know what's going on. Don't say you hear. You hear the news, that's fine. Just hear the news just to find out what's going on. But don't judge Allah because of what you saw. Because you don't know what is happening. You don't see the other side. I only see this side. You only see this side. We don't know how many shuhada are loving it on the other side. In fact, the Quran says when the shuhada go to the other side, you know what Allah says? First word, farihin. They are completely happy. Farihin, they're happy. Bima atahumullahu min fadli, because of what Allah has given them. We see them drowning. Some of them tried to escape and they drowned in the Mediterranean Sea. Yes? The whole boat capsized. The hadith says that when somebody drowns like that, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He makes them shaheed. If you die because of a stomach problem, you're a shaheed. If a woman dies giving birth to a child, she's a shaheeda. There are many ways of being shaheed, but these people who are across the world that we know of that are dying, whichever country it is, look, we know they're dying, but there's another system on the other side. They are completely happy and they say to Allah, يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. They say, oh Allah, please, can you transmit, these are shuhada on the other side, can you transmit what we want to say to our brothers on the ground? This is us. We're sitting here, we're standing here. They say, tell them, يستبشرون بنعمة من الله وفضل وأن الله لا يضيع أجر المؤمنين. Oh Allah, tell our brothers behind us, لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم, the brothers that haven't reached this side yet, tell them how much of a gift and a blessing and your bounty we've received, and that you, Allah, will never waste the ajr and the good reward of those who do good. You'll never waste it. And that's the point of the ayah. My brothers, my sisters listening, you know there are trials happening across the world, and we care for our Muslim brothers. We love our Muslim brothers. We want to do everything we can for our Muslim brothers, insha'Allah. We know whatever means we have got, okay? When I say means, you're going to give your sadaqahs over there, you're going to help them in any way you can, you're going to get them out of the strife and put them in relief, you're going to make dua for them, you're going to try and make a change through whatever system you've got, whatever governmental system you've got, you're going to try and make a change through that. Fine. But one thing you need to understand is, no matter how much we try to change their situation, we are very limited to changing their situation. And our problems are still there, yes or no? Guys, yes or no? Remember I said in the beginning, everyone's got problems, yes? Our problems are there. They have their problems, we've got our problems. They've got their problems, we've got our problems. Their problems are different. Their problems may be bread. They haven't got bread. They haven't got water. They haven't got, emergency relief. Our problem could be more severe than that. You're going to say, La ilaha illallah. What can be more severe than you being in a war zone where there's bloodshed every day, buildings are being collapsed, people are becoming orphans, children are becoming orphans every day, women are becoming widows every other day, people are losing their lives, there's nowhere to eat. What can be worse than that? I'm going to tell you something worse than that. I was in India a couple of years back, I think it was about 3-4 years back. We were traveling from Deoband to Delhi. So I was with my Shaykh Rashid Rahman Farooq Sahib, on the train coming from UP to Delhi. And as we're coming, alhamdulillah, we had a nice 4-hour chat. You don't get the Shaykh like that, grabbing the Shaykh's time like that, mashallah. It's brilliant talk all the way. And one of the things that I said to him, Shaykh, I said, Shaykh, I'm going to say something what I said, then I'm going to relate it to this. I said, Shaykh, we have madaris over there, and I've got my own maktab and madaris and so on. Many of them have got their own madaris. Here they've got the Ishaatul Quran and so on. I said, when you're trying to raise money for a masjid, everybody wants to give. When you're raising money for emergency relief, everybody wants to give. You get the hundreds and thousands. But when you want to raise for education, hardly anybody gives. I said, what can I say over there for people to see the importance of education? You know what the Shaykh said? Now listen carefully. This might put some wisdom in some of us. Shaykh said, go and tell them this. That a man in a crisis, in an emergency situation, who's dying because he has no food in his stomach, and he actually dies. When he dies, if he has died with Iman, he's gone to Jannah. If he died with Iman but an empty stomach, he's gone where? Come on guys, say it loudly. Jannah. And he said, a person in England, in the West, who's MashaAllah, hakta takta. Yeah? MashaAllah, if you look at them, you think they're the panda. Po. And you know, if a person is full stomach, he said full stomach, but he dies without Iman, then that person has gone to Jahannam. Or if he dies with kibr, see, a lot of us think that, brother died, he's gone to the next world, this and that, mashallah, look at this and that. And yes, he prayed his salah, he prayed. You know the thing that we don't know? We can look at his salah, we can look at his zakah, we can look at his fasting, we can look at other things, right? But the one thing we can't look at is the heart. If you die with arrogance in your heart, the hadith says you cannot go into Jannah. Unless Allah sorts it. Either Allah forgives you, or you have to burn in hellfire and then you go to Jannah. And the Shaykh said, in this country, in the country that we are, tell me if it's true or not, we've got many Muslims here who are full stomach, no crisis. But unfortunately, the A'mal says they're likely to be on their way to Jahannam. Have we got people like that in the country, yes or no? Come on guys, yes or no? Now you tell me. Our eyes, when we see a disaster relief, it goes over there and we think, which is good. I'm not saying don't stop. I'm not saying stop your money. No, please give. Carry on giving. But please don't take your eyes off the crisis we've got in our place. Because our crisis could be much worse than that. Right now, my brothers that are in Sham, in Syria, I will tell you one thing. Every Shami I've met in this country, there are thousands of them have come. Every Syrian I've met, they know good Arabic, they know the Quran, they know how to pray, they know Salah. Many of them are professionals. Yes or no, guys? Many of them are professionals, alhamdulillah. But do you know amongst the Muslim community in this country, do you see that many professionals? No, you don't. Those people, though they have got a big crisis, Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed them in many different ways. I want relief for them. I want all the bombings and everything to stop. But I'm telling you one thing, don't lose your focus. And don't you dare question Allah Azza wa Jalla. You know why? Allah said in the Holy Quran, لا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون. Don't ever think Allah is not aware of what the oppressors are doing. He's fully aware. Then you're going to say, well, why does Allah allow it? This is the big question. You know, I asked my Shaykh about this and I said, Shaykh, this is happening, that is happening. And Shaykh just ended everything with one statement. He said, Batil, he said, the thing that is not on truth. He said, it can operate and it can make its movement, but it can only operate within the circumference Allah has kept it in. Allah has put a bubble. And all the people who are doing bad out there, they've got the bubble. They can only operate within the bubble. They cannot escape the bubble because that is Qudratullah. That is the power of Allah. Just remember that. So He allows them to operate in a bubble. And He makes it a fitna and a test for us. You know why? Because now listen to why Allah has done this. Allah says in the Holy Quran, when the Muslims were confused at the Battle of Uhud, they turned around to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, "How anna hada? How did this happen?" Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we're going to have victory. How did we have defeat? And Allah Azza wa Jalla sent an ayah, said, "You're questioning me? وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ إِذْ تَحُسُّونَهُمْ بِإِذْنِ." My promise was fulfilled when you were chasing them away from Battle of Uhud. You were victorious then. Don't tell me I never did my part. I as Allah, I did my part. وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ. I fulfilled my promise when you were victorious, the Prophet and all of you were chasing them away. حَتَّى إِذَا فَشِلْتُمْ. But weakness came inside you. وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. And then you started to argue amongst yourself. وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. And what did you say? Some of them said, let's leave our positions because the war is over. And 43 of them left from 50. 7 were left on the mountain, little gap. Khalid bin Walid, who wasn't a Muslim, found the chance. He made all 7 of them shaheed from behind, and he came and he sandwiched the Muslims in between. Allah says, وَعَصَيْتُم مِّن بَعْدِ مَا أَرَاكُم مَا تُحِبُّونَ. You disobeyed after you saw the wealth. You saw that they were dropping their loads. And there was wealth there. And مِنْكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيَا وَمِنْكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ. You divided between yourselves. Some of you now fell for the dunya, while others were focused on the akhirah. That's your problem, not mine. And Allah Azza wa Jalla then says, مِنْكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيَا وَمِنْكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ وَلَقَدْ. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He has then tested your hearts. And when He tested you, what happened? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, لِيَتَّخِذَ مِنْكُمْ شُهَدَاءَ. One reason why I did it is, I had created many shuhada amongst you on the day. There are 70 shuhada on the day. Allah said, وَلِيَعْلَمَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So that I can make it clear which one of you are believers. This is one of the reasons Allah brings trials to this ummah. Because those of us in the face of trials, we can stay firm. We are true believers, insha'Allah, bi'idillah. Say insha'Allah. And those of us that start to wither, Allah says, وَلِيَعْلَمَ الَّذِينَ نَافَقُوا. And so that I can make it clear those of you that are hypocrites. Because amongst us there are Muslims by name, but not by the game. They're by name, they're Muslims, but not by their game. They don't practice Islam, but they have the name of Islam. Those are the people that are part of the problem that we have. Part of it. Part of the problem. Allah said in the Holy Quran that this was done for you, لِيَبْتَلِيَ اللَّهُ مَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ وَلِيُمَحِّصَ مَا فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Allah said, I want you to test what's in your heart. I want you to remove from there whatever was wrong in your heart. Allah said in the Holy Quran, لِيُمَيِّزَ اللَّهُ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. Allah said, the good of you, I had to separate from the bad of you. If I'm going to give you victory, I'm going to give it to the good ones amongst you. You know how many things Allah said? Allah said, قُلْتُمْ أَنَّا هَذَا. You said, how did this happen? Allah said, قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. It happened because of your failures. Not because of Allah's failures. Allah says in the Holy Quran, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Allah said, did you ever think that you just believe in Iman and nothing, no problems will ever come to you? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. The people before you who were believers, I tested them. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. So that I can make it clear those of them that were true to their faith and those of them that were not true to their faith. And this is Allah's way. He has brought this to our ummah right now. Country after country, place after place. You know why? Allah wants to separate the good from the bad, separate the oil from the water. Allah wants to separate the chaff from the stalk. Allah wants to separate it. Allah wants to show who are the true ones and who are the ones going to fall in between. And my brothers, this is not the time to lose your faith. This is the time to gain your faith. Why? Because our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this was going to happen. The Imam before, when he introduced, he quoted the hadith, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to us, he said, there will come a time and tada'a, the different different nations will draw with one another close by. And they'll call one tada'a, they'll call each other, come, 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 like a hungry group of people. Al-akala, hungry group of people. And they'll come to a large plate to devour it. And who's the plate? We are the plate. We Muslims are the plate. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, the Sahaba were confused. They said, Messenger of Allah, amin qillati yawma idin nahnu ya Rasulullah. They said, Messenger of Allah, because the first thing that goes to your head is, we're going to be less in number. They said, amin qillati yawma idin nahnu ya Rasulullah. Messenger of Allah, is it because we're going to be few, in number, less in number? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, bal antum kathir. He said, but that day you're going to be many. A lot, in abundance. Are we not 1.6 billion, 1.7 billion of the population on the earth? Yes or no? We are plenty. But he said, وَلَكِنَّكُمْ غُثَاءَ كَغُثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. But you're going to become like the dirt and the scum which the ocean brings to its side. The ocean brings to the beach the scum and the dirt. That's how you will become. And they inquired further. They said, Messenger of Allah, what's the reason? The Prophet carried on, he said, Allah will take away the part you had in you of striking or into your enemies. Allah will take that away from your enemies' hearts. And Allah will strike into your hearts al-wahn. He'll put wahn in there. An internal weakness. Wahn is not an external weakness. Wahn is an internal weakness. So they said, وَمَا الْوَهْنُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. What is that internal weakness? And the Prophet ﷺ said, two things is the internal weakness. Two things. And I'm telling you right now, before I go into these two things, I want you to look at the solution of the things that we've got across in the Ummah. Number one is we are many in number. Yes. Number two is if you think that we haven't got enough wealth, you're wrong. Have you got enough wealth in the Ummah, or we haven't got wealth in the Ummah? Have you got little wealth in the Ummah? You've got loads of wealth in the Ummah. Come on guys, come on. Loads. How much? How much guys? Huh? Baba is saying unlimited. We've got such wealthy people in the Ummah that they've got nothing else to do but sit there and buy horses for $100 million and bet on them and race. You understand that? One person said to a Mufti Sahib, he said, is it jais to eat horse meat? Mufti Sahib said a wonderful thing. He said, those days when it wasn't jais, they used the horses for, fi sabilillah, yeah? He said, these days they use the horses for betting, so he said, go and eat them. It's a joke, okay? Don't think we're going to start eating horses, but you get the joke, okay? We've got people in the Ummah that got nothing else to do but make the biggest everything. You go to Dubai, the biggest cake. Bro, who's going to eat that cake? Even if I invite 100 weddings here, we can't eat that cake. They've got the biggest biryani, the biggest tower, the biggest clock. Until they made the one, that's next to the Kaaba. Yeah, you know what I call it? I call it Bid'a Ben. Bid'a Ben. That's what it is. They've got money to spend on all these kind of things, but you know what? The Ummah is suffering. Neighboring countries haven't got food, and there's food being wasted in the neighboring country. The money is not our problem. If you think we haven't got the brains to understand what's happening in politics, I will tell you, you switch on any Arab channel. 98% of them are probably talking about politics at any one point. You switch on half these Urdu channels out, they're talking day and night about politics. So much, you think, man, yeah, man, you lot should run for presidency. All the time, you know what? Dimag kharab hota hai. Honestly. Because they just yap all day with every solution they can think about, but they themselves are in trash. Did you know what I'm trying to say? They've got nothing in their own lives they can fix, but they want to talk about other people's problems. And that's a real serious problem. Right? Right now, people are WhatsApp. You know this WhatsApp, what's, yeah? You know what I'm talking about, yeah? Right? This WhatsApp is a massive fitna. Every day you're getting hundreds of messages. Oh, Rohingya this happened, Syria this happened, over there this happened, and you go, Now understand, we need to know what's happening in the Ummah. Please don't think I'm being sarcastic here. We need to know what's happening in the Ummah. But what? You're going to sit there every day, you're going minute by minute, you're going to follow what's happening with bloodshed and bombings, and you're going to follow it with buildings collapsing, and people losing their children, the wives, stuff like that. You're going to become mental, my friend. The amount of information out there is too much. There's no point of me and you talking about the problem over and over again when you don't have the solution. Because it's going to make you go crazy. If you sit in one place talking about the problem again and again and again and again and go, no solution, you're going to go crazy. If a husband and wife sit there and say, it's your fault, he says, your fault. After a while, he says, you fault. He says, you fault. You can't even make the tea properly because you can't even take the dustbin out. Yeah? If they're carrying on talking about problem, and nobody comes to the solution, what's going to happen? They're going to separate. They're going to fall out with each other. There is solution. You can't just talk about problems. Now this WhatsApp thing all day, you got messages coming, my friend, this is not the solution. We've got too much information. We know what's happening. But that's not our problem. Only, we've got a different problem, which is we don't know what to do. Okay, now next thing is, if you think we haven't even got the researchers, we haven't got the professors, we haven't got the academics, our countries are full of academics. If you think our problem is that we haven't got the know-how of what to do, no, we've got the know-how. Every country, every Muslim country has got their own intelligence service. Every Muslim country has got many universities and many different places of learning. I'm telling you, that is not the problem. If you think that is because that they don't have anything to strike back with man, a lot of them have got, look at Pakistan, look at other countries, they've got their little devices, and we've got the button, we can press the button. They've got it. They've made the nuclear warfare, but that's not going to give you a solution. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say our problem is not going to be? He said, Al-Wahn, Allah will strike your hearts with wahn. And they said, وَمَا الْوَهْنُ يَا Rasulullah? What is this internal weakness, O Messenger of Allah? He said two things. He said, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا وَكَرَاهِيَةُ الْمَوْتِ. He said, the love of the world and the hatred to leave the world. That's your problem. When a Muslim, like remember Muhammad Bhai, remember that one? Too comfortable in his house. You guys remember that now, yeah? Muhammad Bhai, too comfortable, yeah? He says everything, he gets it, right? He can't even sit in his own house peacefully. He has to go out there and start getting drugs and start going out there and messing up his family's history and messing up his father's, death record. He's doing all of this. Why? Because he's got too much. He needs a slap, and for him to come back. And when I say slap, I mean a metaphorical slap, okay? You know what I'm saying? You're saying prophets, yeah? Not a real slap, okay? Not a real slap. A metaphorical one. It needs to be put straight. And if you wonder why Allah Azza wa Jal, country after country has brought this, is because of our own situation. Because we have got Muslims right now who are focusing on the dunya. And when I say focusing on the dunya, you're going to say, well, what's wrong with the dunya? Look, my friend, let me make it clear to you. Dunya, we need some of it. Okay? It makes you continue. You have to pay your bills. You have to have investment for the future. I understand that. So when you take a glass of water, and you drink it, alhamdulillah, it gives you life. You take another glass of water after a while, you drink it again, alhamdulillah, it's good. Now imagine you said the water is so good, yeah? I'm going to immerse myself in water. Brother's going to get so happy with his water, yeah? He's going to go to the lake and he's going to jump inside and say, yeah, I'm in water. If you're going to jump in a lake and you think the water was so good for you that you're going to get loads of it inside the lake, bruh, you're going to be half dead. And that's the same thing about the dunya. Dunya, you touch it with your hand, you never allow it in your heart. If you allow it in your heart, you're exactly what the Prophet ﷺ said. You've got maradul qalb, you've got a disease in your heart. Dunya, if you touch with the hand and you keep it at a distance, that's fine, alhamdulillah. Kasbul mal is sunnah. To earn livelihood is sunnah. But hubbul mal, loving wealth, is a disease. Allah said in the Holy Quran, you read it again and again. الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده. Read the Quran. The Quran says the one who gathered his wealth and he keeps on counting it. Keeps on counting it. You know how they count it? I'm not talking about literally counting it. You know what they do? They go quickly to the app. Ketluche. Ganta pele ketluta. Oh, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. Coinbase and I don't know how many things, okay, and this bank app and that bank app, all the time checking how much shares, how much stock, how much you make. But that's not still the problem. The problem is the next part. And that's what the Rasulullah ﷺ was talking about. يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أخلده. He thinks that, with his money, oh man, life is not going to end anytime soon. Life is going to carry on and on and on and on. And if you could, Allah Azza wa Jal said some of them, they want لَوْ يُعَمَّرُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ. If you could get 1,000 years, you would get 1,000 years on this life. But Allah says, what's after that? وَمَا هُوَ بِمُزَّحْزِحِهِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ أَن يُعَمَّرُ. Even if you get 1,000 years, but your destination is to get punished after that, your 1,000 years are not going to take away your punishment. My friends, the whole point is, we've been inflicted by many of the troubles of loving this world and trying to be in this world. That's our problem. Our problem also is, my brothers and sisters, I want you to listen carefully, there are trials and things across the world. Allah Azza wa Jalla has got every power of stopping that from happening. And He will stop it when? When we become the khayru ummah again, and we become the good nation again, and when we start to, as a whole, I'm not saying everybody has to become like that, I'm not saying 1.7 billion Muslims have to be like that, no. Even a small portion of them become very good, Allah Azza wa Jalla will change the situation. It's in the Quran. The only reason why it changed was, Allah said, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. If you don't do what I've told you to do, I will put another nation to do this, to control the affairs. And Allah then said, you want to change again? إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. When you change what's inside you, I'm going to change everything that has happened. That's Allah's rule. It's going to change. Now let's come back to reality. I've got about, is it 5 more minutes? How long have I got? It's 5 more minutes, inshallah. I'll finish at 50. The reality is we're in Leicester, or whichever place you've come from. There are many troubles that are around here. We're going to give our sadaqas across the world, inshallah. We're going to give them du'as. We're going to care for them. We're going to help them in every way we can. But the reality is Leicester's not going to change by me sending my monies abroad. Leicester's not going to change by me going and giving my du'as outside. Leicester or any other place, London, whichever place it is only going to change when I change myself. It's not about him or him. You get all sorts of Muslims, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Some Muslims are reading the Quran. Every time they come, Jannat wa adnin tajri min, he thinks, that's me there. Min tahtiha al-anharu khalidina fiha, we'll live there forever. And then he flips over, he goes, Jahannama khalidina fiha. Oh, that's my enemy, man. Him sitting there in Jahannam, that's him. My friend, when you hear anything that's been said, every time you hear something bad going on, do you reflect on somebody else? Every time you hear something good going on, you reflect on yourself. Well, that's a problem. If you want to make change, you have to listen to everything with a proper ear. And I say, after the whole lecture, everything, people hear what they want to hear. Do you understand? Or you don't understand? People hear what they want to hear. And they only quote back, oh, Mawlid Sahib said this, which is in their favor. Not in somebody else, no, which is in their favor. That's a problem. If I want to change myself, if you want to change yourself, the thing is Allah said, قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. It's come from yourself. Start reflection and change from yourself. I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters who are listening as well, I don't care how much change we brought in our lives, it's never enough until we get to our destiny. So if you are happy that you've done your 5 daily prayers, you're going to the masjid, you're going to jama'at, and with the congregation you're praying, you're doing your bits of tilawah, you're doing your bits of this and that, and alhamdulillah, my deen is complete, you're wrong. Because you probably haven't got other deeds that are in there. And even if you got the other deeds in there, it's not enough. Because Allah has not told me just to fix myself. Allah has told me to fix others as well. If you think you're really good, go and fix others. And don't do it in a way that you look down on them. No, do it in a way that you care for them. All my brothers who come, all my brothers who are here, we should care for them. We should love them. Even if they're far away from the deen, we should love them. We shouldn't chase them away from the deen. And the thing is, if I want to bring a real change, then I need to start from my local place, start from my house, start from my family, start from my wife, start from the husband, start start from the children. That's real change. You know why? This is the area you can change. And I can change. I can't change Rohingya right now. I can't change Syria. I can make a very small effect with my donation. With some little. I can't change the world from here. But I can change my family. I can change myself. I can change my children. I can change my brothers and sisters. I can change my household. I can change my neighborhood. At least I can change the people who are close to me. Insha'Allah bi'idhnillah. And that's where our focus should never move away from. And if it doesn't move away from there, alhamdulillah, it should not move away from there. May Allah Azza wa Jal give relief to all our brothers and sisters across the world. May Allah Azza wa Jal mend their houses, mend their countries. Say Ameen. May Allah Azza wa Jal give them food in their stomachs. Give them drink that they need. Give them shelter and rebuild their lives. May Allah Azza wa Jal give them the best of what could be written for them in this dunya. And may Allah Azza wa Jal protect us in this country. And protect our iman, protect ourselves, and make our lives, their lives, and all the lives of mankind better. Ameen. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.